Summer is right around the corner, and with endless fast food deliveries just at the tip of our fingers, and always one more episode just waiting for us, it can make weight loss feel impossible. I'm a dietitian, and I'm actually 3 weeks into my own cut as we speak. I've also helped hundreds of clients lean out and reshape their bodies. In this video, I'm going to share with you the 9 habits that I'm mastering right now to turn your body into a fat-burning machine so you can lose weight fast. Why habits are so important. And I'm actually going to let Mr. Warren Buffett explain this to us.
Most behavior is habitual, and they say the chains of habit are too light to be felt until they're too heavy to be broken. And there's no question about it. I see people with these self-destructive behavior patterns at my age or even 10 or 20 years younger, and they really are entrapped by them.
Your habits are the reason that you are in the position that you're in right now. For example, I'm going through a 20-week cutting phase where I'm trying to lose weight. I'm in a calorie deficit because I want to try and go from about 30% body fat down to about 10% body fat. Why am I doing this? Because my habits, my routines, and my behaviors cause me to gain weight and body fat. As Warren Buffett says in the first part of his quote, "The chains are too light to be felt." These were the little micro decisions that I was making on a daily basis, from going to In-N-Out too often, from getting poor sleep, from not hitting my steps, not going to the gym when I said I was going to. Individually, those behaviors, habits, and routines didn't have a big enough impact for me to notice in the moment until they got too heavy to be broken. The compounding of these small decisions over days, weeks, months, and years, I did notice an impact. Fortunately, I didn't let them get too out of hand. That's why we're here today talking about habits and what I'm doing to change them. Right? We can change these habits over time. As much as bad habits can take us in the wrong direction, doing good habits over time can take us in the right direction. I'll leave you with one last quote from the book Atomic Habits. Habits are the compound interest of self-improvement. Habit 1 is being okay with being uncomfortable. This is a habit around your thoughts. To quote Atomic Habits, you do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. And right now, I think a lot of us have fallen to the level of our systems. And our system default is pre-wired to lean on comfort. It is to sit on the couch and preserve calories. That's going to ensure survival. Make sure we don't starve to death. Go seek out highly palatable, high-calorie foods. Again, ensuring survival, making sure we have enough food that we can procreate. Actively trying to change these behaviors, these habits, it's going against the grain of what we're internally wired to go for. I'll give you an example. Right now, I'm in the 3rd week of my cut. I am actively trying to lose weight, so I'm spending all my time in a calorie deficit, just slightly under of what I need every single day. I can feel it. I can feel that I'm a little tired. I can feel that I'm a little hungry. I can feel that my workouts aren't as good. The best way that I can give this analogy is it's a consistent humming of just being uncomfortable. Not only that, this is such a slow process. It only rewards you in little crumbs along the way until you get 1, 2, 3, 4 months down the road and you can look back and be like, holy smokes. I think a good quote to say here is from Layla Hormozi, "Fuck your feelings, follow the plan." Go into this knowing that you're going to be uncomfortable. You being uncomfortable is the fact that we are changing and we are going against the grain of what we're internally wired for. Habit number 2 is to have a meal plan. Just like we talked about in habit number 1, right? We fall to the level of our systems. Without a plan in place, we're going to default back to those systems. I'll share a story of how this would play out every single week. You know, part of my habits and routines that kind of got me to the position where I'm at. I'd food prep on Sunday, I'd go grocery shopping, but I'd only get like Monday through Thursday ready to go. And then come Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I didn't have proteins left over. I didn't have the things I needed to do to make food. So I had one of 2 options. Go to the store, go buy the things that I needed, and then come home, cook them, make a mess, clean the mess up. That wasn't happening. It was, where are we gonna go? Well, you wanna go to Chipotle? Great. You wanna go to In-N-Out? Great. You wanna stop at Crumble Cookie on the way home? Those little micro decisions, in the moment they didn't feel too heavy, over time they compounded. I gained weight, I gained body fat, and now I'm in a position where I have to lose that. So the solution here is having a meal plan where you're having 3 to 5 structured meals a day. You're including the food groups, lean proteins, whole grains, fruits, vegetables, low-fat dairy, beans, legumes, nuts and seeds. You're staying within a calorie deficit. You know what to expect and what's coming up. You can manage hunger better. You can manage your energy levels better. You can continue to improve and reiterate on this meal plan that you have in place. So I think the big takeaways, having a plan and making sure that that plan is prepared and executed on, you can use food rather than a source of pleasure. You can use it as a means to achieve your goals. Sticking to the calorie deficit was so much easier when I had a meal plan in place, all the days covered, all the way through Sunday each week. I was able to remove the variables, right? I would go to Chipotle, have a super high sodium meal, go weigh in the next day, and I was up 4 pounds, right? So I could remove that variable and eat at home, control for sodium, and not have that fluctuation every single week. I was also able to find little areas of improvement within the meal plan in and of itself, where it was, hey, I could add some more protein here, or I could add another fruit here, I could put more fiber in here so I'm a little bit fuller for longer. Like I could just make these little improvements to this plan over time that made it much easier for me to stick to. And finally, the most important takeaway, I was able to better understand or self-manage my hunger, my energy levels, because I was on a structured regimen. Habit 3 is being prepared. You either have a plan to succeed or you lack a plan to fail. So the problem is, it's easy to do the drive-through, right? They make it as convenient as possible. No cooking, no mess, food tastes great. I saw this for myself all the time where I'd prep, I'd have a little bit of a plan, but again, right, I wouldn't prep Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So my hand was forced. It was like, okay, it's either go to the grocery store, buy the food, make the mess, eat the food, clean up the mess, which was just too many barriers to my success. So I, right, defaulted back to the easier system, which was just hit the drive-through. Takeaway, if you will, right? You wanna make it as easy for yourself as possible. You wanna make it easy to stick to your plan. You wanna make it easy to hit your goals. Go grocery shopping, prep the food, make going to the refrigerator, grabbing your Tupperware, putting it into the microwave, and having your meal ready in less than 2 minutes so much more convenient than, right, having to get in your car, go to the drive-thru, wait in line, pay for the food, come back home, eat. Like, right, make it easier than that default system and watch the success just fall into your lap. Habit 4 is tracking macros. I love this quote. What gets measured gets managed. I love to eat tasty food, high calorie foods. Like it's really easy to overconsume calories, foods, not get the protein that you need, get the fiber that you need. The result here is gain weight, gain body fat. There's a kind of negative consequence to that. I'll even share a little bit more of a story. When I first went on this journey, I was like, I'm just gonna start eating healthier. And that was kind of the first layer to this journey. And although I was doing that, right, I was trying to eat the food groups, stick to lean proteins, going with low-fat dairies, trying to include whole grains, get fiber, all that fun stuff. I was trying to eat healthier, wasn't tracking anything. I didn't see a ton of results, which means I was still over-consuming calories. I was just regularly underestimating the amount of food that I was eating, and I think that's a common trend for a lot of us. But once I layered in this habit of tracking macros, I was able to pre-plan my weeks, make sure that I was staying within my calorie budget. I was hitting my protein goals. I was making sure I was hitting my fiber goals. A big takeaway for me was I have a lot more confidence with this habit. I am able to stick to my calories, hit my protein goals, hit my macros, keep sodium within check. And because of that, I'll weigh in every day and I'm seeing continual progress. And that's just a solid feedback loop that is just building my confidence that I'm going in the right direction, that I'm aligning with my goals. I will say the last unexpected takeaway was this discipline of tracking macros, weighing and measuring food, because it's tedious. I'm able to be a little bit more flexible. I can, right, for instance, I was able to go out to dinner with my family the other week, and because I tracked all my macros, I weighed and measured all my food for that day, I had a budget that I could go and have a few tacos with my family, enjoy the conversation, enjoy the company, and know that I was still aligning with my health and fitness goals. I didn't need to be on a strict regimented meal plan 100% of the time and feel like I will, if I deviated from that, I was falling off the bandwagon. So, right, I think there was a level that I didn't think about, which was the level of discipline created some freedom for me that I really appreciated. Step 5 is hitting steps every single day, making sure you're getting that movement. For me, I'm shooting for about 12,000 steps per day. The problem is, I work as a dietitian. I'm at my computer or I'm sitting and talking to somebody and counseling and coaching them. If I just do that, I get about 25 to 5,000 steps per day. So I have to be intentional about getting more steps per day. What this normally looks like for me in order to hit that 12,000 mark is I have to wake up in the morning, take my dog out for a walk for about a 20 to 25 minute walk, get done with work and go for another 20 to 25 minute walk. And then finally after dinner, me and my significant other will go for another 20 to 25 minute walk. During these walks, I'm recording it on my Apple Watch and I'm hitting again about 12,000 steps per day on average. Some of the takeaways that I've had from this, I'm creating a higher baseline of activity. Trying to hit 12,000 steps, I've raised that baseline by a significant amount. This makes my progress more consistent, more reliable, day after day, week after week. Habit 6 is following a structured workout plan. From my own personal perspective, where I'd get stuck in the cycle of I would work out for like 2 or 3 days, I'd go really hard at it, then I would be like so sore, so tired, hungrier than I normally was, so I'd kind of burn out, have to recover for a few days, and then I'd kind of have to go back to that process again. And it was just kind of this ugly cycle where I didn't see a lot of progress. I didn't see a lot of progress in the weight loss or the fat loss domain, and I didn't see a lot of progress in the actual like workouts. Like I wasn't any stronger. I wasn't, any faster. So the solution that I found here was to actually just make it consistent. I do 4 days of strength training per week. I do 1 bout of cardiovascular training per week. That's all. But within each workout and week after week, I can see improvements. I can see, hey, I've done a few extra reps this week. Hey, I can do a couple extra pounds this week on the whatever exercise I'm using. This also made my weight loss a little bit more consistent as well. So rather than, maybe seeing a big drop off in weight during this period of time where I was super physically active, and then, maybe seeing weight gain when I was burnt out and having to recover, and then recycling and repeating that process over and over again, I can just kind of see a more consistent progress as far as body fat and weight loss. Biggest takeaway though that I have is I have a better understanding of when I can push it, when I need to rest and relax, when I can manage my hunger and my recovery a little bit better because I have a structured plan that I'm following where I'm not just blowing my wad every single, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, but rather I have, Monday and Tuesday where I train upper body and lower body. And then I have Wednesday as a rest day. And then I have Thursday, Friday where I do upper body and lower body again. And so I can kind of gauge how I can push it, when I can push it, what my hunger is going to be from those, see that progress. I think the best analogy that I thought about for this was you can live to fight another day. You're not killing yourself by doing a 2.5 hour workout and then not going to the gym for the next week because you're so sore. This concept of rather than completely gassing out, you give it your effort for that one workout. But then you have enough to go in and do another workout, and then another workout, and another workout. And the total productive time spent as an accumulation over a course of a week is so much more than that 2-hour workout that otherwise would have happened. Habit 7 is tracking your weight and your body fat percentage. I'm going to share the definition of accountability, an obligation or willingness to accept responsibility or to account for one's actions. This practice of getting on the scale every morning and weighing yourself, there's not a better form of accountability. Making this daily choice or daily habit of stepping on the scale, I can't think of a better accountability partner. I think the big takeaway here is you can see the trends over time. Last month you weighed 197 pounds. This month you weighed 193 pounds. Cool. What I'm doing, my other habits that I have are resulting in the results I want to see. There is no better accountability partner. I think you can also use these data points, if you will, the scaled weights and the body fat percentage, to adjust your plan. To say, hey, maybe this amount of calories isn't working for me, or hey, maybe I need to reanalyze my meal plan. Am I truly getting the amount of calories that I think I'm getting? It can give you a little bit more insight into what's going on. Habit 8 is taking some sort of progress pictures or progress videos. Making sure that you're taking these progress pictures at least once a week, because the problem with the scale is there's going to be fluctuations, Whether you had too much sodium one day, or you just had a workout and you have some inflammation lingering from that, or maybe you didn't work out for a couple days and you had some carbs and your glycogen storages from your liver and your muscles are nice and full and you're retaining a little bit more water. There's going to be fluctuations day to day, and those can be really challenging. But when you have progress pictures or progress videos that you can take on at least a weekly basis, you can look back on those and say, hey, no, look at these changes. Even though the scale doesn't represent it, look at these changes that I'm seeing, right? I can see a new vein, or I can see biceps, or whatever it might be for you, that you can see the visual representation of your efforts, your results. So I think the takeaway here is the scale does have some flaws, and then seeing those flaws can be like seeing the weight go up can be so detrimental to you continuing down this path, right? It can be such a mind game where it's like, hey, I'm doing all the things. Why am I seeing the scale go up? Is this even worth it? But by seeing those visual representations in the progress pictures and the progress videos, you're able to just have a little bit more confidence that you are on the right path. Habit number 9 is focus on fullness. You really want to set yourself up for success. Now, the problem that I see, and for myself included, when you are hungry, it's hard to focus on anything else. You're emotional, you're low energy, probably have a headache, like physically feel weak. When does that normally come on? After you have eaten a massive salad with a ton of protein on there and some healthy carbohydrates with a lot of fiber in there? Probably not after that. It's gonna happen when you have the high calorie, low nutrient, low fiber, low protein foods, the candy bar, the Snickers bar, whatever it might be. You're going to be pretty hungry, call it an hour after that. I'll give you a quick example where I talked about this In-N-Out burger. I love the double, side fries. It's delicious. Yes, every once in a while it's good. That being said, it's like maybe 300 to 400 grams of weighted volume food for that burger. Maybe another 100, 150 grams for the side of fries. I mean, we're talking, call it 400 to 500 grams of worth of food. It's going to be about 900 calories. So it's a pretty small volume of food, doesn't offer a lot of fiber. Sure, it's a good amount of protein, but I could probably eat like 1.5 burgers and the fries. And even when I do that, I'm not going to be satisfied for very long. I'm not going to be like overstuffed, and I'm not going to be satisfied for 3-4 hours after I eat that meal. I'm gonna be hungry pretty quickly, probably 2 hours after that meal. Versus, right, when I changed that habit and I started eating at home, I could have 2 pieces of protein, 2 pieces of tilapia, 2 pieces of chicken breast. I could also have some roasted potatoes, where I got 200 grams of potatoes, double what was offered at the In-N-Out. Then I could also include another 175 to 200 grams of vegetables. We're talking close to 600 to 700 grams worth of food on one plate. It's a massive plate that I'm able to keep at about maybe 500-600 calories tops. Wildly different than eating 400 to 500 grams worth of food that was almost 900 calories compared to 600 to 700 grams of worth of food. I'm gonna be so much more satisfied, so much more full, and I'm not gonna need to reach for another meal immediately after. You're gonna get so much more bang for your buck, and you're gonna set yourself up for success for staying within your calorie budget and keeping that hunger at bay, just making the plan a little bit easier to stick to. So the big takeaways are focus on low calorie, nutrient dense foods, your fruits, your vegetables, your whole grains, your lean proteins, your low fat dairies. These are going to provide you with your body with what it needs to feel full, to feel satisfied. Also include staying hydrated in this. This is how you're setting yourself up for success. Not just for staying in that calorie deficit for that just one meal, but right, the meals to come as well, right? You won't be reaching for something immediately after. Again, this is just gonna make the journey suck a little bit less. I wanna encourage you to be patient and trust the process. Don't try and rush it. Don't try and speed it up. Don't focus on the scale weight. Don't focus on anything else. Focus on what you can control, which are your actions and your behaviors. It's really easy. I do it too. I get caught up in looking at the scale. Why isn't it going down faster? Why don't I see the changes faster? What's going on? Like, I'm putting in so much effort. What is going, like, why? Why even do this if I'm not going to see the results? What I tell a lot of my clients is, right, Rome wasn't built in a day. You are going to see fluctuations throughout this process, especially in the beginning. But you're going to learn, you're going to grow, you're going to figure things out, you're going to figure out what works, what doesn't work for you. And in that process, you're going to land on being successful at this. Just stick with it long enough and make sure that you are following through on the actions that will make it inevitable for you to be successful. I'm going to reference a story really quickly from the Atomic Habits book. It's the story of the melting ice cube. When you start out on your journey, think about yourself. It's an ice cube. Your behaviors, where they're at right now, they're in a room that is at 20 degrees Fahrenheit. You start to implement some of these behaviors. You start to change a few things. You then go up to that room and you turn that dial up to call it 29 degrees. Nothing happens. Ice cube is still frozen solid, still freezing in that room. You do another week, you maybe add a few more things, you change a few more behaviors, you learn a little bit, you adapt a little bit, you grow a little bit. Cool. We'll just bump that up to 30 degrees now. Still, nothing happens. Again, you do all the things, another week. Now we're at 31 degrees. It's getting a little warmer, but still, nothing's happened. Then you continue down this path right as you're about to give up, right? Right as you're about to stop doing what you're doing, you're figuring this is worthless, I don't want to do this anymore, that just change is hard. You get to 32 degrees. You notice that there's like some like water condensation building up in the ice cube. Like, hey, what's going on there? This looks like it's changing a little bit. The compounding of these habits, these behaviors, these changes that you're making are starting to come to fruition. So you stick with it for another week. You turn that dial up again to 33 degrees. Like, hey, there's water on it now. Holy smokes, like we're making, there's some moves here. Like, let's keep going. You get this like revitalized shot that, you know, what you're doing, your effort that you're putting in is paying off. You do it another week, 34 degrees. Man, it's not even a square ice cube anymore. It's like the corners are melted off and it's dripping water now. Keep going, 35, 36, 37. The moral of this story that I'm telling you here is the behaviors, the minor decisions that you make day to day, they're not gonna make a huge impact, but you do that every day, every week, every month. They'll start to compound on themselves and they start to bear fruit. You start to see results. You stick with it even longer, you get a couple steps towards your goal. You stick with it for 6 months to a year, man, you are close to your goal. You're doing the darn thing. But in that process, you've also learned, you've figured things out. You have leveled up, you've self-improved. So as we close this out, I wanna encourage you to start, stick with it, and keep getting after it.